welcome back. Today's video, I'm gonna be honest, is very special because it's kind of a pipe dream for me. I'm not gonna lie, right? So I've been a massive fan of competitive Halo now for well over a decade, since like the end of Halo 3, start of Reach. And growing up when I was like 14 years old, living in ninja and formal streams, I wanted to be a professional Halo player when I grew up. That was what I wanted to be. I wanted to go pro in Halo. Now, recently, EckhartsLadder ran a Halo Infinite content creator tournament, the Spartan Masters, hopefully the first of many. And as the title says, your boy won, and in doing so, kind of, sort of, in a very small way, fulfilled one of his teenage pipe dreams. Now, obviously, this wasn't by any means a pro-level event at all, not even close to being a pro-level event, so I'm not quite pro, but our team won. We took home $5,000, and today I want to show you how we won. But first, let me roll something a little special.
What? Okay.
Nice cheese, Nick. Back off the map. What the fuck? All week on B. All week on B. Nick's up to dead. Nick dead. Nick. I got a triple. Let's go.
One is coming attic
I got Sakura. They're all top control. 2 weak in. Another one. Nick with top control. Behind you, quick behind you. Nick's weak mid-range. Come around as well. Let's go, dude.
No way, bro.
Oh, good shots, good shots.
Cheers. So there you have it, my first very, very average Halo montage. Well, the clips were average, the editing was not. Please go and check out Scythe, he's the guy that edited it for me. Links in the description, he's an incredible editor. Highly recommend checking his channel out. So, let's get on to the event. First, I just gotta thank EckhartsLadder and everybody who was involved with the production of this event because it ran absolutely smooth as butter in every way. The production, the casting, the organization, the timings, everything was on point. Even Infinite played nice. I don't think we had a single crash the entire night, which is pretty good going to say how bad Infinite custom games are right now. So the way it worked is that there were 16 content creators invited, 4 of which were captains. Me, UberNick, Actman, and Chris Reagan. And then the other 12 players were Rasha, Covenant Cannon, Covent, Halo Follower, Kevin Cool, Scalp Whacker, Gigabrit, Halo Cannon, iSpiteful, General Kid, Takwin, and Nade God. The way it worked is the captains picked their players, but first off, everyone had to get their seed, which is basically their placing, and the players did that through a series of 1v1s. Now, a lot of these 1v1s were close, and a lot of them were not so close, and in the end, Nade God and Scalp Whacker ended up placing 3rd, 4th, Takwin placed 2nd, and Spiteful placed 1st, winning $500. Then, with the individual player rankings out of the way, it was time to rank us, the captains, and we did so with 3 games of free-for-all. The first game was on Livefire, and for the entire game, it was really close between me and Nick. I genuinely thought that I could have won this game, but I started to choke a little bit towards the end. I got a little bit desperate, got greedy, and started chasing kills that I shouldn't have. And in the end, I dropped 22 kills, and Nick dropped 25. Then it was streaks after that, and it started off decently for me, but towards the end I just started dying way too much and got really unlucky with spawns. Spent half the game like running around the map searching for people whilst they were running away from me. I just got kind of unlucky there, but my shot was also pretty rough that game as well. Again, I ended up coming second with 18 kills, and Nick came first once again with 25. and then game 3 was on Bazaar, which is my least favorite map in Halo Infinite. And it kind of showed in my gameplay, I think. My shot was not great, my positioning, and just the way that I played this game was trash, to be honest with you. It just wasn't, you just sometimes have like an off game, and this was mine. In the end, actually, Actman ended up winning, and Nick came second, I came third, and Chris came fourth. So overall, the captain rankings were Nick in first place, me in second, Actman in third, and Chris in fourth. So with all of these games played and the player rankings sorted, the final thing left to do on this Saturday night, which is when the first stuff was done, was for the captains to pick their teams. And I'm gonna be honest, I think all 4 teams ended up being pretty balanced. There was no one team that was distinctly better or worse than the others. They all seemed pretty fairly balanced. For my team, I picked Spiteful, Arash, and Halo Follower, and despite what I just said, I thought that we were the most well-rounded team. I felt really confident for our team going into Sunday. Our team didn't really seem to have a weak link. Everyone was either decent or really good, and I just had a feeling that we could get the dub on the Sunday. But to win an event and to become a Halo champion, you need great hardware. And that's where Acer and AMD, the sponsors of today's video, come in. They sent me the new Nitro 5 laptop to take for a spin, and let me tell you, this bad boy has some serious power behind it. With an AMD Ryzen 7 5000 series CPU and an RTX 3060 graphics card, you'll be pulling frames like never before. And with dual fans and Acer Cool Boost technology, you never have to worry about temps, whether you're annihilating the Banished on Zeta Halo or out BRing noobs in matchmaking. You'll be cool as ice 24/7, baby. And further, with the inbuilt Waves Max audio and Acer True Harmony, the sound quality will be immaculate. You know what that means? No Jackal Sniper will ever get the jump on you again. Okay, well, actually, I can't guarantee that because there's not a single thing in existence that could ever guarantee that. You know how sneaky those boys are. But regardless, you'll hear every Banished scream, every enemy footstep, and every one of the Superintendent's voice lines in the highest quality, most crisp audio humanly possible. So if any of this tickles the old fancy, then click the link at the top of the description to find out more. Thank you once again to Acer and AMD for sponsoring the video, and let's roll on to Championship Sunday, baby! So, Sunday was the big day. It was the 4v4 $5,000 tournament, and I was excited. The first matches were the semi-finals, which were best of 3 single elimination, which means if you lose 2 games, then you're off home. And then the finals were best of 5, which means you've got to win 3 to win the entire thing. The first series of Sunday was Team UberNick versus Team Chris Reagan, which went 2-1 in favour of Team UberNick, which meant that Nick and his team were in the finals, while Chris and his team were knocked out of the tournament. Then it was time for us versus Team Actman. Game 1 was Aquarius CTF. Now, they took a really early lead, but we countercapped almost right away, and as soon as we did that, the momentum just swung instantly in our favour. They almost countered us after that, but I got a clutch double, and Arash threw their flag out the window and stopped it, and then just the momentum was completely in our favour. We countered one of their flag pools and got another cap before countering yet another one of their pools and running the third flag in, and we just kept the pressure up the entire game. Ultimately, after quite a lot more slaying and, gonna be honest, a absolutely disgusting triple out BR from your boy, the game went to sudden death as both teams had the flags out, but luckily Halo Follower ended up clutching up, killing their flag carrier and letting the timer tick down to 0, which meant that we won 4-2. Game 2 was Recharge Strongholds, and I was kind of checked this entire game, honestly. I'm not a fan of Strongholds, and I think it kind of showed in my gameplay, to be honest with you. We ended up losing 250 to 222, so it wasn't too big of a gap. Like, we knew that we could have won that game. We made a few mistakes here and there that we could have definitely corrected, but we were pretty hyped for the Slayer, and the Slayer went pretty well. It was Slayer on Livefire. I'm not gonna lie, our Slayers this weekend were absolutely disgusting. A few minutes into the game, we had a pretty decent lead, and we held a solid setup around tower and just slowed the game down to a standstill. I noticed that my shot this game was a little bit off for whatever reason, so I started playing more of a support role for Spiteful, who was just absolutely slaying out of his mind, and I knew that if I changed my gameplay to play into him, then our lead would only get bigger. For most of the game, I ended up just hiding cuts with Mangler and just feeding him weak kills or picking up stragglers, and honestly, I feel like that's what our team did best this entire weekend. The way that we played was pretty dynamic. Like, we were really good at changing our playstyle on the fly to kind of fit the flow of the match. Like, if one player was going off, we'd feed into that, or if one player wasn't going off, then they'd know to kind of play a support role and drop back a little bit and focus on staying alive. In the end, we ended up dominating the Slayer game 50-35, sending Team Actman home and moving on to the grand finals against Team UberNick. Now, you may or not know, but me and Nick have quite a little bit of a friendly rivalry going on with 1v1s and with our Halo skill and stuff like that, so this series was going to be pretty exciting. I was ready to prove myself. Game 1 was Bazaar CTF, and I've already told you my thoughts on Bazaar. I also don't like Bazaar CTF. I don't understand why it's 5 flag and not 3 flag when the map is so big and when you have to slay the enemy team like 3 times to get a cap. Like, it's way too many caps, but anyway, like, this game just didn't go well. Didn't go in our favor at all. I didn't play very well, and to be honest, I don't think any of us played particularly great this game, and we ended up losing. We did only lose by 1 flag cap, to be fair, so it wasn't like a complete domination, but we also outslayed them as well, actually, 77-68, but in the end, we ended up losing. It just wasn't the game. Game 2 was Strongholds on Streets. Now, this is honestly the only Strongholds map that I actually like. I don't mind Street Stronghold as opposed to Recharge or Live Fire. And this was a pretty interesting game. So in Street Stronghold, you want to be holding A tower and B, and you want to force them to be spawning around C. So the start of the game was pretty back and forth between both teams controlling this A-B tower setup, but Nick's team ended up getting pretty good control of it for a while, and they worked up a pretty hefty lead. And honestly, big leads in Strongholds can be quite demoralizing. When you see that the enemy team are like 100 points up on you, that's a lot of hill time. That's a lot of time to claw back when you're losing. It can get quite demoralizing. Like, it's very easy in a Stronghold game to just get completely checked and just like lose full looking at the scoreboard. But when you don't do that, when you play a game like play by play instead, it ends up flowing a lot better. We did start to pull it back a little bit though. We managed to flip the map and start controlling that AB setup for a little while, but because of the massive lead they had, every short 2 cap that they got just pushed them ever closer to winning. But then, when they hit about 220 points, getting really close to the win, we turned on comeback mode. We managed to play for scrappy time and then hold that AB setup for long enough to claw our way back from a 60-point deficit, and at that point, we really felt the momentum kind of swing in our favor. When it came down to the wire, they got kinda lucky with the spawns and ended up spawning somewhere near A. So a Rash made this like 700 IQ play that at the time like worried me, where he ran to C while I was on respawn, so I think we were like 2 dead at the time. He ran to C to cap that. So I spawned with him, we got C really fast, which meant we locked it down for kind of insurance, so if they capped A, we'd still have a 2 cap and still keep scoring. In the end, they didn't end up capping A, and we ended up getting a triple cap and winning, but that play by Arash was huge, because that was a nice insurance cap to make sure that if they did get A, we wouldn't be out of it yet. We would have still been soaking up time, would have been getting points, but in the end, we clawed it back from a massive deficit and ended up winning, tying the series 1-1. Game 3 was Slayer, and they picked Recharge for it. Now, I already said how good our Slayers were this weekend, but this game just like cements that. I don't think we ever lost the lead after getting like 7 kills in this game. We knew that if Nick got shock rifle, then he had the potential to kind of go off with it, so we made a point of shutting him down and making sure that he couldn't get it, and the few times that he did get it, we just, again, we shut him down before he could really do anything with it. And only a few minutes into the game, we had a solid 10+ kill lead, and so to put the pressure on even more, we just slowed the pace of the game down and just started holding a setup over in pipes. Meanwhile, Halo Follower was like on the complete other side of the map with a sword behind them, just tearing them all up. When you have a lead in a Slayer game, slowing it down like this forces the enemy to get desperate and just start needlessly pushing you, and because of the setup that you're holding, the entire team can just collapse on them when they try and do that and melt them down easily. I did at one point flank around the back of them to BR tower and got this really sus non-backsmack double on, I think it was Ian and Takwin. I don't know how this wasn't a double, I don't know how that wasn't a backsmack, but you know, Infinite's melees aren't in the best place right now, to say the least. Eventually though, despite what I just said about holding a setup, I think at some point towards the end of the game, we saw the scoreboard and just started getting a bit cocky, so we broke the setup and just started free roaming and hunting them down because of the massive lead that we had, and we ended up closing out the Slayer game 50-31. Which was an incredible commanding victory, and it really swung the momentum in our favor for Game 4, which is the last one that we needed to win 5k and the entire tournament. However, despite that momentum and all that was on the line with this game, we didn't get complacent. We just knew that after the reverse sweep they got in that Strongholds game and the absolute beating they got in the Slayer game, like at this point we knew they were checked. Like at this point we knew they were probably head casing a little bit because they should have won the Strongholds, and then going from that to being demolished in the Slayers, like it's not the best thing. Like they'd probably lost full at this point, so we knew that we could just put the pressure on and win. Now personally, I love Oddball. I love Infinite's iteration of Oddball even more than regular Oddball, so that was definitely going in our favor. Early on in the game, whilst we were holding a tower setup, I got a really nice double kill with a repulsor. I think I repulsed Taquin off the map and then out beyond Brit, which was very nice to start off the game. So, on Live Fireball, there are 3 setups that you want to hold. There's Tower, Garage, and Back B. Garage is really good to hold down, but Tower and Back B are great because you can play the ball really easily. If your team go like 3 dead and you have the ball and the enemy are pushing you, you just throw it off the map and it respawns bottom middle and your team can like regain and go and get it. A lot of this game, we played the ball Garage, and then say 2 of us went down or we got pushed really hard, we'd rotate the ball to Back B, wait for respawners, and then hold it there and then play it. That seemed to work really well for us. Round 1, we held Camo, Snipe, and Heatwave really well, and it was honestly a pretty clean victory from us. Round 2 was pretty back and forth though, and we miscommunicated quite a few times trying to set up, which didn't help, and I think ultimately it ended up being quite close but really messy round. I choked what would have been, like, honestly, a disgusting out-BR on Nick to win us the entire tournament. I look at this out-BR here that I just choked, and I'm still mad. I wish I'd landed that, but, you know, it is what it is. And they ended up winning round 2, which pushed us to round 3, which was really tense, honestly. Made for a great storyline. Despite losing round 2, we regained full at the start of round 3, and we played a lot cleaner this round. Our rotates from setup to setup were super clean, but still, honestly, despite that, it did end up being a close round, which kind of goes to show how closely matched both of our teams were. After a load of messy fights around the tower right at the end, the ball got played when both of our teams were on 90 points. We managed to get to Garage off the respawn, and I thought I could get the W here, but I got killed, but Spiteful then rushes in, gets an insanely clutch double kill on the ball carrier, and the person defending him holds the ball, and there you go. We got the dub. We won. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Right here.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yes!
Oh my
Yes! Oh my god, I pulled my headphones out. Let's go! Yes! What a feeling of just relief, amazement, satisfaction. I honestly, that feeling right there, I was just like, this sounds so cliche and cringy, right? But it felt like teenage dreams of mine legit coming to life. Like, holy shit, I just won a Halo tournament, dude. Like, what the fuck? It's not like a proper pro level one by any means, but counts for me. It counts for me. Of course, GG's to Nick's team and everyone involved. Nick's team were really good. They really threw us down to the wire. All of our games were really close, besides the Slayer. I had a ton of fun. It was great. And then to round the weekend out, we did a charity BTB event where 2 teams joined together to face off, and the winner got to donate some money to charity. Sadly, our team lost, but I still wanted to donate some money to charity anyway, so I donated $500 to the RSPCA to protect the animals. And so, that's how I won my first ever Halo tournament, taking home $5,000 for the team. Honestly, like, I can't put into words how happy I was. I mean, I went and got a drink, I started doing push-ups, really bad form push-ups on the stream. I was so excited at this point. I literally, I dreamt about that feeling for God knows how long, and even though it wasn't like a, obviously, pro-level win or anything like that, actually winning an event was just like, I don't know. I can't. I was so excited. Huge shout out to EckhartsLadder and everybody involved with casting and producing and organizing this event. It was incredible. Honestly, absolutely incredible. Massive props to everyone. If you want to follow them, you can see the Twitter links on screen right now. Go and follow Eckharts and Twin Suns. We're going to be doing more of these events soon. I believe the next one is towards the end of March. So if you guys want to see your boy win another event, then go follow them and tune in. Also, don't forget to go follow my teammates, Arash, Spiteful, and Halo Follower. Of course, links are also in the description. So, with that said, I'm going to round this incredibly iconic video out here. I want to give a massive thank you to all of my amazing patrons for the continued support over there as per usual. Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you also for tuning into the Twitch stream. Had a blast on there as well when we did this event. And yeah, I can't wait for the next one. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.